Hey, we're back after about 10 months wasn't it 10 months? Don't we decide?
Yeah, I looked at YouTube and it said that it'd been 10 months since you uploaded the last video. So that's where I
Oh,
grabbed that number.
okay. So that's a while.
Yeah.
Um, we're back with a new format. There's a reason for that. This actually is going to play into the energy because if you are really sensitive to the energy, you're going to be noticing a lot of things, which we will talk about from this week as well. But um, old stuff isn't working anymore. It doesn't fit anymore. And that's essentially what I'm talking about is the old podcast format name didn't really fit where I was career wise or you were career wise or personally. It just felt like we've evolved in the last 10 months. And so we had to come back in with more of a format and a name that fit more of where we were on a personal level, spiritual level, physical level, career level, whatever. So we are back with the spirit files now, which I think we'll get into more of that. My life seems to be more and more revolving around mediumship at this point in time. So I think it's very matching for me. But yeah, how's it been going? My day's been going okay. It's just the funny thing is, for those of you who don't know us, me and Michelle tend to have these spirit chats often, and we were like, why are these not on a podcast? So then right before this one, I'm like, okay, I can't talk to you. Like, I can't talk to you
Yeah,
about
this is
anything.
new for me.
Yeah. I'm like, we can't talk unless we're recording it because then we're going to say all the things. And then we're like, why didn't we record that? So I've put us on talking restrictions at this point in time so that we can ask all the questions during this podcast. But yeah, this week has not been great energy wise as far as personal, but how's your day going so far?
They started off rough, which I can't really get into, but we'll just say it was an abrupt, like, oh God. And then it's just been a rough week overall, I think,
Work
because
wise,
it's
right?
work wise, because I
Or
think
personal wise too.
I've done I have only been focusing on work to the point where
There's no personal life. Okay.
there's no
Well,
personal
it's
life, there's
hitting
nothing
me
going
at
on.
both sides. I'm like personal, everything's on fire. Business, everything's on fire. Like it's like craziness. But anyways, your week started out on
Yeah.
fire this morning. Okay. Yeah.
So I've been working on a really big project. This week has been super intense. I do design and marketing, which I feel like I've probably mentioned in the past, but if you're watching this for the first time, you have no idea what I do probably. And I recently just celebrated 5 years of working for myself, which I think is a huge accomplishment.
Huge, huge accomplishment. That's big.
But I don't necessarily think that I have anything figured out, like in a rhythm or a pattern, because I feel like everything is always fly by the seat of my pants. Everything's always on fire. And so it's always feast or
I feel
famine
like
when you're,
that's just owning your own business. And
yeah.
like, I feel like when people are like, oh, yeah, I'd like to be an entrepreneur and I'd like to do this. And I want to be like, okay, are you prepared for the roller coaster of emotions that you're going to go through on a daily basis? Everything being on fire and feeling like you have no system. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
that's
just,
just,
I'm hoping that like eventually I figure out a system. Like, system would be great. I think I'll
well,
get there eventually, but I'm kind of just like rolling with it at the moment.
I think that's the system. The system is to roll with it because it's been 5 years. I mean, you're pretty systematic, so I'm pretty sure you would have got a system down by now because if you knew Michelle, the amount of systems and things she has in place makes me jealous because you
You
have
say this,
everything.
and I do not agree. I don't agree.
You don't agree. It's amazing.
Everyone tells me this. Everybody says you're so organized. You've got it together. No, I do not. It feels internally, it feels like there's an amateur circus running the show.
My
And
God.
I can't keep up. It's hard.
Well, you're faking it really well then, because from the outside, and I'm a psychic, it does seem like you have your stuff together pretty good. So I think that comes to frame of reference. Um, you are probably your organized chaos is way more organized than most people's organization. So like whatever
Yeah.
you're doing seems to be working. And so yeah, that's
Well,
hilarious.
I've learned that I feel like I have 2 speeds, right? So, the first way that I handle stuff is I have such bad ADHD that I feel like I can't focus. I'm like a squirrel that's, like, constantly, like, changing and switching to, like, focus, and so I feel like I can't get as much done. But when that's not happening, my second speed is 100 miles an hour, don't stop it, go, rocket fuel. We've got to do this. So I'm on. Like the other night, we were launching a campaign on Thursday. Wednesday, I was working until midnight. Then I
Yes.
got up at 5 a.m. to go work out. And then immediately, as soon as my workout got done, was back at it to launch the campaign that morning. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm such a person that's like, I get shit done. Like, I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to, I'm not going to be the problem or the reason that something doesn't work. And
Right.
so I'm going to go and I will work until things get finished. But it's a lot and it's kind of like weird hours. And so
It is a lot.
it's
And that's
hard.
where we have to maintain the balance part because first of all, I think most people have ADHD at this point, like for
Yeah.
real. And I do think that most sensitive people have it. And I'm not joking. Like I really feel like that's true. But that being said, the balance part is really important. Like for instance, I haven't got into work stuff so much until now. I am teaching a class for Japan this afternoon. And I teach it on Fridays. Right now, I have a whole class going with the translator and everything. And man, that's a whole nother thing. Like I've been teaching for so long, it's ridiculous. But teaching with a translator to Japanese students, which I absolutely love, but it's very interesting because if you say one sentence, it's like 3 times as long as Japanese. And I don't care what the sentence is. So that's been fun to adapt to. But I have to stick to my workout routine as well. People don't realize when you're sensitive, I'm sensitive. It's not just a physiological thing that we have to do caring for our health. But man, I can't even imagine if I didn't start my day working out. Well, I can because I did it before. It was a crash and burn scenario. It wasn't great. Um, you I can't maintain the level of my connection and do the spirit work I'm doing without starting my day with a workout. It just doesn't work. Like it starts to affect your physical body. And what happens is you get off balance. Once you get off balance, it's hard to get back into balance. And it when you're out of balance, your connection is not as strong. So personal wise, career wise, as a mother, grandmother, whatever. Ooh, I just said grandmother. I never say that ever. That makes me feel like I'm so old, like I'm a
Like your
low.
grandma's got the juice.
Oh God. Oh yes. So speaking of that, you wrote a rap album. Um,
I
and
know. I lost
that's
a
what
week
I
of my
used
life.
to that's what I used to work out to though, because the songs are so good. Like they're high vibe songs. You should actually put that
Oh,
below.
yeah,
And
I'll put it on the notes. So if anybody doesn't like, what are you talking about? I lost a week of my life making a rap album. AI, of course, because I'm not musically inclined, but
yes,
it was so much fun. And
I,
we did it with a group of friends and we were just
we
all
did
making
it.
songs about each other. It was the best
Yes.
time.
It was the absolute best time. We're in South Dakota for the Spirit Expo, and we got together, made more of these AI songs about people's journeys or spiritual journeys. Oh my gosh. I did one for Dave, my my husband, if you don't know, called Wizard Status, which there's a story behind this. He was terrified of what this song was going to turn out like because well, I mean, it was me. doing the thing. So that being said, it was really, really good. But my husband has these tendencies to have these really, I don't know, prolific, the spirit guide, no, spirit animal, connections, which he'll be super happy I talked about because he likes to pretend like it doesn't exist. And so when
Well,
he
it's
gets that way,
rare
it
because
is rare.
he's not like you in the sense of like he doesn't do this professionally. He
No.
doesn't. It's
And
just something that
he
kind of
proceeds
like
to tell
seeps
me
through.
all the time that no, I'm not going to do what you. I'm not going to do it like that. And I'm like, here's the thing. I am rare, and for all the people having wizard status senses or psychic senses of any kind, most people don't do what I do with your gifts and abilities. And for me, it's not even the point. The point is not to become a professional psychic or healer or professional medium. However, if that's what you want to do, that's a whole nother avenue. And I'd say try it. But he likes to tell me often, no, no, that's not what I'm going to do. That's not why I do this. And I'm like, I know we don't have to have this conversation every time. I got it. One of us is enough doing this professionally. But anyways, it's funny.
I would say he said that my animal was a unicorn, and that's where I think when I linked the music, if you are curious, I also wanted to make music to work out to, so I made
Yes.
this like high energy like manifestation music. There's a lot of I don't know, just fun
Oh,
about high
so good.
vibes. It's so good.
So good. And
And it's by Digital Unicorn, which was my name, so I'll link
yes.
that below so that if
Yeah,
you
it's
want
so
to
good. And that's what I work out to all the time because it matches where I'm at vibrationally as far as like uplifting and the words of the songs and all that. And plus, another thing that people don't realize, which is, I feel like you're going to learn a lot about me in the day of the life of a psychic medium on this podcast. But I do a lot of my spiritual work when I'm working out. Weirdly enough, um, it's personal spiritual work, meaning that's where I focus on my personal alignment. That's where I work on my quantum heart coherence, which is the new book that I just wrote, not Quantum Heart Coherence, but it's called um, The Quantum Heart. I use those techniques while I'm working out. Now, that may sound strange, and if you have the book, and you may wonder, how does she do that? It's it's because I've done it since I was little. I can do heart coherence work while my eyes are open. It's something I've always done. It's kind of like a walking meditation in essence. So I've always trained myself to do this. So in the
But working
morning,
out is kind of like a flow state. It's kind of like a
yeah,
meditative state. So to me, it makes
yeah,
a lot of sense that you could do
yeah.
that while you're working out.
So that's how I start my day. I start it with the working out. I start it with the quantum heart work, and then I move into my day. And I'll tell you, if I don't do that, wow, the disruption and the disarray and the chaoticness that happens energetically. Yeah, I'm not here for that. And I don't do that hardly ever because I don't like the way it feels. So my day is pretty routine and I do listen to your stuff and then we get into that. But yeah, so, but we've had a lot going on. So we have been doing the expos. We've been doing a spirit gallery live at the expos. Those have been a huge hit. We should have the next one. Hopefully we'll have dates for that soon. Should be coming up in Honolulu and then South Dakota again. We're looking at potentially using a place in South Dakota that is kind of haunted, which is fun. We're not going to get into that now. We're going to talk about that later in another podcast because I want to talk about what happened when we went through it.
Yeah.
And we need to have Rhonda here to go through that. But, anyways, that was fun. So, we have a lot going on. And in fact, one of the things that came out of what we do with the Spirit Gallery Lives is going to be the Spirit Files live gallery. And that's going to be purely a mediumship gallery. and we will send that out, or like I'll send it out to my newsletter and stuff. And then you can come get a mediumship reading from me and Rhonda during the gallery via Zoom. Because when we did that recently, I had a lot of people that were like, I want to come and I want to attend, but I'm several states over. I can't make it. So we thought, well, why don't we just do one once a month? And then people who, can't make it, can't travel, but do need help. A lot of people that have passed on. It's very helpful for the grief, the healing, all the things. We're going to help you with things during that live gallery. So we have that coming up, and yeah, we have a lot
Well,
coming up.
yeah, I'd say if you're interested, if that kind of like piques your interest and you're like, ooh, I really want to know about that, I'd say getting on Jen's email list is probably the first thing you need to do if you haven't been there, or if you're not on there. And will have another special one too, specific to the Spirit Files Live. So
Yeah, we're
again,
gonna
everything
do
in the
a
show
few
notes.
different things that we're going to be introducing. I don't want to talk about them yet. They are in the making, but we will be introducing some really cool things if you're into mystery type things, true crime stuff, all that kind of whatnot, or hauntings, what kind of goes on in certain places, who these spirits might be. It's just really fascinating for people right now. And I like merging all of that together because with the fascination, it helps people to develop and become more in tune with their spiritual senses and, moving forward. So, anyways, have you seen? This is really cool. I'm super excited about this. I don't even know how I got on this subject, but I literally live under a rock as far as social media, any of that goes. So I just don't know anything. In fact, I'm trying to really hard to rework my relationship with social media so I do not hate it so much. I have the weirdest response when I get on there. Like everything gets tense and I don't even have to look at anything. And all of a sudden I'm just angry. So I'm like, actually have to hand it off to people to do most of the time. But I'm like,
You know
okay,
what's weird though? I would say I'll let you get back to your point. I find it so interesting that I'll have several different like Instagram accounts on my phone, just like either clients or,
yeah,
personal ones. And I have mine and I like mine because the vibe of it's so good. And it's like the algorithm,
the
it knows
algorithms
me.
are
Whenever I
jiving.
switch to a different account, I am like, I friggin' hate this. Like, I just don't like it. There's something about it that you can feel that is
Yeah,
just, like,
hmm
not for you.
100%. And well, so I don't even know what happens to me because I don't even have any algorithms of anything because I'm never on there. But anyways, um, so I'm trying to rework my relationship with that. But anyways, one I did see one thing. It wasn't on social media though. It was on a podcast. It was actually Joe Rogan's podcast. It was the one with Bob Lazar on there. He did another recent one with Bob Lazar. And I'm like, okay, why is he back on here again? Because I really like Bob Lazar. I love his personality. He is very warm. He's very likable. He has a lot of really interesting information. He didn't do the film person. I think his name was Luigi, was on the podcast with him, did a documentary called S4. Did you hear about this?
I've seen clips and I haven't, like, dove into it yet, but I did see that there was a recent Joe Rogan podcast. They were talking about, like, aliens,
Yeah,
like, crafts again, and I know that Bob
right.
Lazar was mentioned.
So that's going to be fun. I am hoping to watch that this weekend. I will get my thoughts on that when I watch it. But it's on Prime. I have to buy it, whatever. So I am excited about that, but I did not know that they were coming out with something. But what they talked about, which I found very cool and interesting, is a couple of different things. Bob Lazar was talking about how it actually helped bring more memories back, and it was so much like reliving that time frame that apparently the Luigi did a fantastic job with a lot of the graphics, the storyline. So I think that'll be fun and interesting.
I'll
That's
have to
that
watch it
stuff I
too
like. Yeah,
so that we can chat about it.
yeah. So that'll be fun and interesting because his last Netflix one was really good. I watched that. Did you watch the Netflix one he did?
I feel like was it a long time ago? I mean,
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I don't think there's been much going on because he likes to not be in the social media eye. So there's that. But anything else going on? I think that we have a couple of questions that people were wanting to know about that we were going to cover. But I do want to talk a little bit about spirit stuff before we get into anything else, which is the veil is very thin right now. So spirit activity is definitely going to be heightened, but like not in pockets, but kind of in pockets, but it's going to be heightened more than it's ever been. So it's shifting, everything's changing, the energy moving. So the activity at my house has been insane. Like it's just off the charts. You guys know when you were here last, it was just crazy. We had voices, we had fire alarm going off. We had my favorite story is when Dave was yeah, peeing before bed and the toilet seat slammed down when he was peeing, which clearly, I mean, that doesn't usually happen. I'm pretty sure they're not made to do that. And then comes back in and goes, well, apparently you guys have woken the spirit gods. And I'm like, okay, that could mean so many things. And spirit activity is high anyway. So what's happening now? And he told me about that. And then that same week, my water turned on when I was in the shower, my faucet,
the same
fire
faucet,
alarm.
right?
Yeah, like the hand
Yeah.
faucet, fire alarm going off at 4 o'clock in the morning. You said the bookcase was like, what's that show? Where the closet and the wardrobe in the closet.
Oh,
I don't.
Narnia?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like
Um,
that. Yeah, The Closet with Witch in the Wardrobe, it was a book.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys were getting. Rhonda was getting touched on her head and freaked out, which was hilarious because she's one of the mediums that I work with. So I'm like, this can't freak you out. Come on now.
This is
Um,
literally what you do.
literally what you do. So it's funny. You can be a medium and get freaked out. I don't get freaked out. I don't know why I don't get freaked out. I feel like I don't know if it's just because I've been so used to it since I've done it since I
You
was
get
little.
used to it because
Yeah,
I
but
feel
I
like
mean,
there used to be so much crazy stuff that happened in my house, and then at some point you're just like, "I'm tired. I don't
right.
care." Like, I just like figure it
Yeah.
out.
Well, that's true. But I think I'm a little bit different too, where this has been my life since I was tiny. And for instance, with Rhonda, it's kind of been a blossoming thing for her over the
Yeah.
years. And while you guys still had abilities and for yourself, there's been a blossoming happening with it. I just have always had that in my life. So I told somebody the other day because they were talking about well, we were talking about one of the haunted places we had been, and somebody had saying that they could feel the being pushed on the bed, meaning like they were laying there and they could feel a weight on the bed, like a hand or, if somebody leans over. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that happens to me all the time. They were like, what? I'm like, yes, it actually just happened to me a few weeks ago. I could feel the weight enough to where it woke me up because I thought it was my husband giving me a kiss before he left for work. And he was nowhere. Like he'd left for work a whole hour before that. And they were like, oh my God. I'm like, I am so used to it. It doesn't even, it's just, oh, okay, that wasn't him. And then I just go back to sleep. But I enjoy the activity because the lights turning on, electronics turning on and off, that's not even that big a deal. The bed where you can feel something pressure on the bed, the touching, the usually if they're touching your hair, that type of stuff is usually your guide anyways. And it can be angels, it can be guides. It's not usually a spirit or a random spirit. If they're putting pressure on the bed, they're getting so close to your aura or your energy that they're kind of invading in your space. That's not really random spirits. And people don't realize you have protection around you with your guides and your angels. It's not just that um, you don't want that to happen. They only will allow certain energies to move in to your energetic field. So that if they feel that you have a connection and or you're safe, they're going to allow that connection. But unless um if you are the type of person that you're just trying to invite all spirits in and you're trying to make a connection, but you don't place boundaries, they will allow them to come closer into you because now you consented and given your permission. It's kind of like, where you're in my personal space. It's the same thing. You're in my energetic personal space. So it doesn't freak me out. And we have some stories about that coming up that'll be kind of fun though. So, one girl, I did put an email out to my newsletter list, and there was a girl who had written in that had talked about random lights turning on in her house.
Do you want me
And
to find that question?
yeah, you can find that. I think um, it's okay to use her initials or something, or maybe first name, but um, I don't use.
I think her
I don't
first name started with an A,
if
but I don't
you
remember.
send in anything. Now, what we should do with this photo is we should just put it on the Spirit Files Instagram. That's what I started thinking. Maybe we'll just throw the photos up on the Instagram instead of
Yeah.
posting them here. So if you want to look at that, you can possibly go to the Instagram. Um, we'll have to maybe check with her, make sure it's okay. But that being said, yeah, do you have that up there?
I do. So she asked, both my mother Gretchen and my best friend Kelly died within a month of each other near the end of last year. A few months afterward, three different decorative lights we've had for years started turning on in front of us. It seemed to be happening when we needed it the most. At one point, three times in a few hours, I took a photo each time it happened just to document the date and time. And then she shared the photos with us. And she was wanting to know who was turning the lights on.
Right. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up again is because her friend, it was Kelly, right? Wasn't
Yeah, Kelly.
that the friend? Has been bugging me ever since I got the email. So like until I get this message across to her, I don't think she's going to leave me alone. So she's just like, it's me, it's me, it's me. And how does she not know it's me? Because uh the message for her is basically they either had a conversation or she had a thought or something of having her contact her or I will contact you, but there was some type of inner exchange with that. And she's a little aggressive, this one, not the one who wrote the email, but the friend who's trying to really get across, hey, that was me, why is she even questioning it? She should know. So it was the friend, not the mother. The mother is more she's more in the backfield, so she's more hesitant of coming through. Like her energy is not as strong as the friends, and that does make a difference. When they're on the other side, the strength of their energy can bypass other ones, and by ones I mean spirits, and other spirits might like take the back seat a little bit because they're like, okay, yeah, she really has a lot to say, you go first. So
No, see, it's not like they're not around, right? Because like, but if she made an agreement to be like, "Mom, you need to like get on it, send me a sign," could you manifest that? I was
yeah,
assume.
well, I mean, you're not manifesting it, you're communicating.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so just to be clear, that is you communicating with the other side, and you can communicate with spirits. And I wanted to do an Instagram post where it says, um it's basically, it's not that the spirits aren't talking to you. It's just that you're not listening. And what I mean by that is you don't know how to listen with your energy being more the dominant listener. So you listen differently to spirits unless you are clair audible fully, meaning you physically hear things clair audibly. And you can, but most people don't hear things that way. Or the clairvoyance is very physical. So if we're using very physical things, I feel like that's what people are looking for. They're looking for visually seeing, audibly hearing it from a physical standpoint. And that's not typically how spirits will contact you. They use telepathy more than they use audio. That's how they communicate in the spirit realm. So it's I don't think that people realize the communication style when you're on the other side is entirely different than when you're on earth, and they tend to use that same communication style for various reasons. Number one, if you hear something audibly, it will potentially scare the bejesus out of you. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
The tone that a spirit will use coming into the physical realm, it's very tinny, it's very unfiltered, and it's stark. The only words I can think of is stark, tinny, abrasive. It's loud, and it will literally make your heart stop sometimes if they're being loud enough. That's why also spirits whisper versus saying your name like Michelle. They'll be like, oh gosh, I'm going to scare the lights out. So, you know, they'll
Yeah, I used
talk.
to hear that when I was a kid. I always felt like somebody was trying to whisper my name, and then I would get freaked out, and I'd run to the bathroom, and I would try to, like, and I never
Well,
told
yeah,
anybody.
because there's
Like,
this creepy edge to that Hollywood has made. Like
well,
anybody,
I was old enough to know that hearing voices wasn't great. Like, it wasn't, like, what you were supposed to be doing, but
well, there's
so it kinda,
that.
like, scared me.
But what about every scary movie ever? They like whisper things that you know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
oh, you're definitely going to murder me in my sleep. That's what you think when you hear somebody whispering anything. Like it's like crazy. So um that is scary in itself. So I think that your body just has this automatic get out of here, like we got to run now, like feeling when you hear a whisper and there's nobody there. But I want to tell you on the flip side, thank your lucky stars, because if you heard it very strongly, it would be also your legs would want to start running before your
It's
brain could catch up
terrifying.
what was happening. Yes.
Yeah.
So spirits will contact you in a subtle manner. It's more energetic, it's more telepathic. There's energetic impressions. And it's not that far fetched. I talked about this before, but you know, people can receive energetic frequencies to their TV through their internet that then are decoded and then form a picture and then form audio. Like it that in itself is more mind-blowing to me than how spirits communicate, which is so funny. But there's that technology on a physical scale. That's what we're doing on an energetic scale. You're just the antenna, you're the decoder. So you still receive the energetic impression if you're not hearing it audibly or energetically telepathically. You
Mm.
still receive the impression. Then it's your job to decode it. You do that through the quantum heart. Then it gives your brain images, and that's how spirit communicates. So when you're trying to reach a spirit or trying to hear a spirit physically, you just don't know the techniques, and you're kind of not doing it with how it works. You're not plugged in. You don't really understand the decoding process. And then you start questioning yourself, and then you don't trust your intuition. That's a whole thing. So
Yeah.
there's that. But
We have a friend now. I was gonna say, if you can't hear, we're going through a thunderstorm, and there was just a giant lightning strike, and so
was
she's a
there?
little, yeah, she's a
She's
little
like,
scared.
save my life, and do you really need to be podcasting right now? Like, it's
She's like,
scary.
I am more important. Thank you.
She does look a little she is so worried. Look at her.
Oh,
She's
baby
like, "Okay,
girl. Yeah.
I am concerned." But anything else that's new we wanna talk about before we, move on?
Well, I did have something I put together, that I wanted to get some psychic hot takes if you're
Oh,
willing to
okay,
do
this
it.
will be interesting. Yeah.
We have not discussed anything prior, so this is going
That
to be new.
it's yeah, because I don't like to do that prior. I yeah. First of all, it seems like work when I do it that way. Yeah, I just yeah. Now I feel like I'm working at being psychic. I don't want to feel like that. Number one, it just doesn't work very well. Okay, what's
Yeah,
happening?
so just to set the
This is
scene,
funny and normal. We actually do this. I cannot the amount of times that you're like, "Did you hear?" And I'm like,
the
no,
answer is
I'm
always
pretty sure
no.
whatever you're gonna say, it's a no because and then you'll be like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
Okay, so just to set the scene, even if you think I have specific questions, I'm gonna try to introduce them briefly. These are gonna be some of like the hottest like topic discussions that are going on in the news.
Okay.
Celebrities, sort of like unsolved mystery case. I've just got a couple, so I will pull this up.
Wait, what are we pulling up? Are we pulling up pictures or are you just asking
I'm
me?
just pulling. I put together a couple slides, just
Okay.
because that's
Interesting.
how I roll.
This will be fun.
Here we go.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so there was a recent news, kind of like a breaking news, that they had some DNA. They're analyzing the DNA. And my question is, 'cause we haven't really talked too much about the whole Nancy Guthrie case. Do you think the DNA is going to like actually make a break in the case?
No.
Because it's interesting too
I
that they
don't know what
also
you
say
mean
that
by
there's like
that.
a
I don't know what you mean by make a break in the case.
like identifying a person of interest.
That's what I thought you meant. No, I don't think they're gonna get anywhere with that. I mean, let me look at that a little bit more because it does feel like the DNA is not the break. It does feel like they're somewhat onto something. To me, it does feel like they're peeling it apart now. It does feel like they're peeling it apart. It does feel like eventually there will be um, somebody charged with something.
Okay. Yeah, that was gonna be my next question.
Mhm.
If they were actually going to be able to kind of figure out what really happened. I know there was some speculation about it and possibly being connected to an internal family member. Did you have
Mm.
any thoughts on that?
Um, possibly. Well, I don't think it's connected in the sense of like they set it up, but they may have given some information. I guess that I would say. So
Okay.
maybe somebody said, "I'll give you so much money for information," and they were like, "Okay, well, here you go." You know what I mean? But
There was some
I don't
recent
think that they were potentially involved in the organizing of it. I guess I would say.
There was a recently within the last few days too, TMZ was reporting that they've been contacted about like a ransom, and like somebody has been multiple times. They go, "We have information. You just need to pay us this Bitcoin." Like, do you think that that person even has credible information?
The people asking for the ransom.
Yes.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like that was kind of the point. It was, they were asking, I think that was the point is to get a ransom. I'm
Yeah.
concerned about the, outcome though of yeah, it doesn't look great.
Yeah. I think everybody kind of has that
Yeah.
consensus at this
And,
point since it's been a while.
the age definitely played a factor and the being able to navigate that type of environment, it doesn't feel good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can move to the next one. I am so excited because
Okay.
you watch the Real Housewives Do you watch
Okay, so
Orange
that
County?
is one thing about me that people might find a fun fact. I like reality TV shows. I mean, just different types of them. That's how I turn my brain off from all the spirit work. Weirdly enough, I have to turn it to some fun, light TV. So I don't watch, I don't watch crime shows. I don't watch anything that's pretty deep. I watch things that make me feel like things are kind of, I don't know, lighter, fun, you know?
Yeah.
So what, oh geez, what are we going to do with reality
Hold
TV?
on. Hold
That's
on.
interesting.
Recently spotted
Oh geez.
making out
This is not going to be good.
with Kyle Cook and Megan King. Do you know who Megan King is?
I do not.
Okay, well, maybe this was she was a Real Housewives star. I was going to ask you about what you thought about this matchup because all of
Okay,
the whole
wait a
Summer
second. I
House
do watch a
news.
lot of Real Housewives. Maybe I'm forgetting who she is, or maybe she was on briefly. So, which one was she on?
I believe it was the Real Housewives of Orange County.
Really? How do I not remember her? Okay, well,
Yeah,
that
for
being
3
said,
seasons,
it
and I
doesn't
guess
matter.
she was a model, but
Okay, it doesn't matter who she is. I'm just
yeah.
going off the vibe of it. It doesn't feel like this is gonna stick. So it feels like maybe they're having fun, whatever. Doesn't feel like it's sticking.
He recently just got divorced, right? Their divorce went through?
That was one rabbit hole I went down for a second because you had mentioned it to me, and I'm like, again, you're like, how do you not know this? And I'm like, I'm not on social media. I have no idea. You kind of can see the train wreck coming though. Like you kind of were just waiting for that to happen. I feel like any viewer was, or see, that's when I don't know if it's a psychic thing or a viewer thing, but I mean, that's coming. Yeah, and then it went into the whole other thing, which is just mind-boggling with their other castmates, his wife, Amanda, and then
Amanda and
Wes.
West. Yeah.
Yes,
We don't have to get into that. That's a whole nother
that's
rabbit
a
hole,
whole
but
okay. That is a definite rabbit hole.
let's go to the next one. I know I chatted about this, but this is Alex Cooper and Alix Earle. They're
Okay,
currently feuding. When I have a specific question about this, because Alex
okay.
Cooper, if people don't know the drama, she was basically saying, "Hey, if you've got a problem with me, just say it." And then Alix Earle responded and was like, "Okay, I'm on it." And everybody has been waiting for Alix Earle to respond. Like everyone's like checking their watch, like when are we getting the tea of like what really happened? So my question is Alix Earle going to respond or is she going to save it for her Netflix show that's coming out,
Oh,
I
there's a
think in the near
Netflix show
future?
coming out.
Yeah, she just got her own Netflix show. It's going to follow her family and just kind of like her
Hmm.
lifestyle. And
Um,
there's speculations that she might not even address this and save it for the show.
it feels like there's going to be some type of short response at some point in time. Might be right before the show even airs because it feels like it's an unfulfilling response, like
Oh.
stay tuned for, or like a response, but like you just left nothing, you didn't really say anything. So it might be like a redirective response where it's like, hey, again, watch the show, or like it just feels unfulfilling, like people are like, we waited for this and then now we're still waiting, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's so funny because every time I'm on social media, everyone's like, "We're waiting for the tea. Where's the tea? We need it." And so everybody at this point is like,
Well, they're trying to
"Is she
figure out
even
how
going to respond?"
to position this PR wise.
Yeah, which is
Is what's
what I
happening. So she's
had
being
assumed.
held back from responding. So
That would make a lot of sense.
yeah, which makes I mean, which is smart as far as their career goes.
That's all of my celebrity tea that I wanted to gossip on. Well, hopefully we'll do more. We can follow certain stories in the future, and we can circle back on the unfulfilling response that Alix Earle gives in the future.
Yes, probably. Well, like I said, it feels very curated. Like there's a whole team trying to navigate that, which is smarter than just blurting things out. I mean, meaning I don't think that Alex Cooper blurted anything out. That's not my point. my point is, I have heard when people do respond to things and they get responding very emotionally. And I mean, there we go. The housewives are famous for that, anyways, on reality TV. It's just that's so easy to put your foot in your mouth, and you should not respond emotionally in the public, um, and do a PR disaster. You, if you can avoid a PR disaster, that's that's my angle. I would, if they were my clients, I would be like, okay,
Oh
let
yeah, I think it totally makes sense for her to take her time, and she's got a team of people around her now that they're going to try to guide it, because right now, I mean, the silence is just fueling a lot of hate towards Alex Cooper's way. I mean, there's so many clips coming out about how poorly she's treated guests, how mean she was. It's just it's not a good look
well,
for
I mean,
anybody. So,
I'm so tired of that old scenario of um how you treat people love to target any celebrity or person that is high profile in business. They like to bring them up, and then they like to shred them down. So once a person hits a certain level of success, whether that be in the entertainment industry or business wise, I feel like then once they hit a certain level, people just, they're not about it anymore. They're like, okay, now how do we tear this back down or make ourselves feel better about this person hitting, a level of success? That's one aspect. Then if you take the other aspect of, if they're feuding with somebody, then now we're picking sides and we're on a
well, and that's
team.
but that's when all the skeletons come out of the closet, because I will be honest, there's been some clips does not look good. She's calling other people's babies a little slut and things like that. Like, it's bad. It's like the things that she said is not in a good light.
Okay, so since I know neither, I've never watched either of them, don't really know either of them, it feels to me as if you're talking about Alex Cooper is saying
Yeah,
things.
I think she wanted
Okay.
to like be a little feisty, a little controversial. She would talk
It
about
feels
topics.
to me that her personality is edgy and strong, and she says a lot of what she thinks. And
Yeah.
within that, she has a personality that talks a certain way, and she uses humor in a certain way. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like this is not new. It feels like this is how she built her brand, essentially, is what
Yeah.
it feels like. She was very outspoken, and that she's very unfiltered. Now, again, I know nothing about her, but this is what it feels like her personality is. It's very unfiltered, very unspoken, outspoken, and like maybe swearing and things like that, like really getting into nitty gritty and really girl talking or something. Oh wait, is she's like a girl podcaster or something, right? Like
Yeah,
it feels
she has
okay.
her own podcast, and it's a
So
little
I
bit
literally
different.
do live under a rock. So that being said, it's really interesting that, okay, if this is her personality and how she built her brand, which feels to me like that's what happened, you can't turn around and then be going, mm-mm, now you can't be doing the same thing anymore, because now you got to clean it up, because this is that it's very hypocritical. You don't call somebody out who became to the level of success they did with that, but then tell them to clean it up and backtrack it. Now whether people like it or not, that's for personal people to decide. You like her or you don't like her. I'm assuming if you don't like her, you didn't follow her anyways, and if you like her, you still like her. So that shouldn't, it just is weird to me that when people build their brand or their business doing a certain thing, and then when they get to a certain level, they're everybody starts judging the way that they built the brand or the business. So I
Well,
find
I
that curious.
think it's interesting though. It's like not necessarily about the content, like yeah, she's interviewing people, she's kind of got a style, and she can be outspoken in that way. It's how she treats people behind the scenes that I think has
What,
ended a
like
lot of like relationships.
behind the scenes, how though?
I was watching like TikToks about like interns. They were like, "Oh, I was there for all that drama, and this is what happened." It's just it's mistreating people badly. I don't have a
Well, I
specific
guess I would need
example,
more
but
context on that because again, it comes down to I don't know what mistreating badly means because I haven't went down any of this. Like, so I have no idea what they're referring to.
it's more of like, I don't care about you personally. I just want to make a dollar. So I'm going to find a way to profit off your pain. And I don't really care about you as a person, but I'm just going to, do what I can do.
But
That's a
see, I
good
feel
business.
like that's a personal opinion. I feel like that's a
And that
personal
can be.
opinion.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's her approach in her head. I feel like that's how people are perceiving it and wanting her to be now. So I feel like her approach in her head, again, I'm not defending her in any way. I don't know her. I don't know of the podcast. I'm just saying it feels to me like her approach is very business minded. Would her business mind eventually ratings and dollars matter? Yes, it does because she's building a brand and building a business. So I think it's fair to say, does she have the money in mind? Of course she does, because and if she says she doesn't, that's silly, but because that's what building a business is. So you're going to have those in mind. I just don't know enough about the background of what people are saying that she's doing that is terrible. I just think that everybody's jumping on a train to
Yeah.
now tear the train down, and it's what people do on social media, which is why I can't stand it. So
But I
it's
think this is like, but she kind of opened up a can of worms because she was like, we don't have an NDA. Say what it is that you don't like about me. And so everybody is curious because they're like, okay, well, what really happened? And they want to know. And I think that's why Alix Earle is taking so much time to, craft a response
well,
in the
she
right
did.
way.
She did open up a can of worms and she put it in her court. Now everybody's waiting apparently.
Yeah, everyone's waiting. It was like, okay, you've invited us to this drama. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the whole people going to business together. Wait, were they on a podcast together or something? What was the deal
So
with
Alex Cooper was starting her own network and she signed Alix Earle, who was starting to blow up at the time, for her own podcast on Alex Cooper's network. It was called Hot
okay,
Mess.
so she
I think there was
under
an incident in Chicago where there was something about they did like a Chicago live show and Alix Earle was brought out and then all of a sudden there was like a lot of inappropriate questions that I don't think Alix Earle was prepared for, like a lot of deeply personal questions that she wasn't really
okay.
wanting to answer, but apparently Alex Cooper had gotten her was like forcing her like making sure she kept drinking. So then she got a little drunk, was sharing more than she wanted to. I think there could have been boundaries, felt like personal boundaries being kind of
Okay,
violated
so
in
I
that
have
instance.
so many comments to that. It is not even funny. Number one, nobody makes you do anything, period. I don't like it when people use that as an excuse. I really don't like it when they use an excuse as I drank too much, did things I didn't want to do, say things I didn't want to say, and now I'm mad at whoever was serving the drinks to me. That
That's just a rumor though. I don't know
yeah. So
if there's any weight to that.
yeah, I don't know. Again, I haven't seen this, but if that's the angle people are using, that's kind of crazy. At some point, there has to be a level of responsibility and commitment with your own life. So, that being said, that is one of the things that I feel like people need to understand most when it comes to spirituality, developing your internal senses, your intuitive senses, getting your body healthy and balanced to the best of your ability is everything starts internally. You need to understand that your external environment is a creation from your internal environment. And what I mean by that is it's human nature, I think, for people to want to point fingers outside of themselves if they are not happy with a situation or anything, whether that be you're in a relationship, your coworkers, anything of that nature. I feel like sometimes it's human nature to go, this isn't my fault. This is happening to me. I think that that's what people do. I don't judge people for that at all because I understand that that's what they do. However, that's not going to get you very far. And I hope that my students, my listeners, my followers, or anybody who's interested in the books that I write understand that any situation you're in, you have to start with you first and straighten out how you feel about things, how you handle things, and take responsibility for your choices, take responsibility for your own personal emotions, take responsibility for the relationships that you create, take responsibility for the relationships that you stay in. You know, we can't make all these choices that don't align with what we desire in life and then go, well, that's because of the economy. That's because of this job I'm at. That's because of this person who I'm with, or that says, no, that is all you. You are choosing to either stay at the work. You are choosing to have this perspective on the economy. You are making choices. There will be a lot of people that will say, well, I don't want to make that choice. I have to make that choice. That is a very humanistic 3D thinking. You don't have to choose anything. You may choose it out of fear, but there's always other jobs. Well, no, there's not. In my field, in my industry, that's not true. It's not even true anymore with the internet. I mean, and now we're choosing a perspective of justifying why we're in the situation we're in life. We're choosing to justify it by going, I didn't have a choice. I couldn't have, I can't now. Biggest pet peeve of mine, huge pet peeve of mine. If
Not taking
everybody,
accountability.
well, yeah, if everybody started going, you know what? It's my responsibility to choose things that make me happy. It's my responsibility to pursue something that makes me excited. It's my responsibility to make sure my bills are paid, or my debt is not big because I'm not going to purchase this vehicle. I'm going to be within my means. I mean, it's your responsibility for your mental health and well-being. It's your responsibility for your physical health and well-being, and it's your responsibility for your spiritual health and well-being. And you are the CEO. You determine all those factors. And if you're not happy with any of those things, you're the decision maker. You have to choose differently moving forward. And that's also the coolest thing about life is maybe you didn't like it the past 10 years, even 15 years, or for the past 3 months, however long that is. We wake up every single day with an opportunity to shift and change that. So I think that that's really important to remember. And I think on that note, we
Yeah.
can uh, end this nicely. And
Yeah,
then come back,
absolutely. We can
come back
give
to the next one.
Yeah, yeah, which, we'll probably be doing different, changing it up just a little bit. Every show isn't necessarily going to be the same.
Right.
But I would just as a reminder, if you want to make sure that you are in the latest and greatest in what we have coming out, what we're doing, make sure that you find the links below wherever you're watching or listening to sign up and be a part of the Spirit Files.
You know what's funny? We're both wearing this color blue today.
No,
What even
I
you have
saw that.
on? Like, wait, what is happening? You have this blue top on, and I have this blue top on, and I swear to God, this was not a conversation, but it is funny. We're on the same wavelength today.
Yes.
All right. All right. Until next time, we'll
All
see
right.
you soon.
All right. Bye.